See you in just a minute. Give me a moment as I go live on Facebook, please. Hope you're doing well. Almost there, almost there. Hi Facebook, Sami Abu Saad here. I hope your weekend is off to a good start. Welcome again to this edition of the Strategic Swing Trader, where we go over the FANG and some other stocks that are important for the market as a whole. So let's go ahead and switch over to live charts. Before I do that, standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description. Hit that like button like crazy if you like what you see in the video. All right. Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and get started. First, I just recorded a couple of videos, one of which was about the market, but I forgot to talk about the IWM. Talked about the SPY, the Qs, the diamonds. I said they're pretty much identical. Appears to be definitely a short-term top, but I said let's wait for a reaction as we're at the 20 MA on the weekly chart. Let's see what the bulls have in store, and then based on the reaction, what kind of a reaction we get, we'll be able to tell whether we're going to go back up or actually basically maybe drop a little more and look to retest the prior lows. I don't think we're going to retest the prior lows all the way down, but we'll be able to tell based on what kind of reaction we get next week. So I already said all of that in the previous video, but I forgot to talk about the IWM, which is the one that looks different than the rest of them. Note the weakness in IWM. Every other index is already made new highs for the year, already reached the 2018 high and exceeded it. Every one of them, the SPY, the Qs, the diamonds, except for the IWM, which is the leading, is the leader, right? The small caps index almost always in bear markets, bull markets, almost always leads. Note the weakness. Note the weekly sell setup, almost a sell setup. Okay, and note the monthly transition C breakdown. My platform is acting up this morning. I don't know why. I almost never have any issues with this platform. It's real tech. It's a top of the line platform, really expensive. But for some reason this morning it's really slow. Maybe it's my internet. I actually didn't check. You see this? That's the monthly chart of IWM. So that does not look very good. Look, based on the size of the retracement, we retraced at least 60% of the drop. I don't think we're gonna, totally roll over here, but watch out for that IWM. That's the key index to watch if you're thinking if you're looking to get a head start on the market. If you're thinking this was the top, we just hit a top in the market, and from here we're gonna go in a downtrend. This would be the time frame that would give you the heads up. It was also not the time frame. This would be the index. It was also the IWM that topped out first. The SPY, Qs, and diamonds topped out in October 4th, I believe, or 3rd of 2018. The IWM topped out in August of 2018. In August. Does that make sense? August 31st. So definitely the IWM is a leading indicator, and one should be aware of that. Now on to the FANG stocks. The FANG stocks are kind of the most important stocks for the country, for the economy. Obviously, technology companies lead the economy for sure. I mean, they're the biggest companies in the world anyway, except actually Microsoft should be on there too, because Microsoft is the biggest and Microsoft is the most bullish. What I want you to know is, without necessarily wasting too much time analyzing each and every one of them, what I want you to know is they all look okay except for Netflix. So meaning, okay, they're breaking down on the daily chart. What isn't right now? Everything is, with the market dropping so hard. But I wouldn't pay so much attention to the daily. If you're looking at long-term positions in the FANG stocks, I would pay more attention to the weekly, because that's a larger time frame, and they are above their weekly moving average. See this? Facebook. I'm trying not to make too many clicks here because my platform is a little slow this morning, very slow for some reason. So take a look, right? They're all above, not all of them. I mean, the Amazon was below the moving average on the 20 MA on the weekly, but they're all still maintaining the uptrend. Google is right now the leader. Would you believe it? Google looks good, especially on the larger time frame, the monthly chart. But look at Netflix. Oh my God, Netflix does not look good at all. Look at Netflix. Oh my God, looks horrible. Looks lower to 250. I'm not saying it's going to get there tomorrow or next week or next month. But if the market tops, this will be the first shoe to fall from the FANG stocks. This will be, mark my word, the first shoe to fall from the FANG stocks. Okay? Every other stock in the FANG stock is good. Microsoft is the best, but it's also a little climactic on the monthly chart. But it's by far the strongest. And again, it's the only one of the bunch that has a market cap of over $1 trillion, right? $1 trillion. So FANG stocks, okay, just like the market, except for Netflix, which looks horrible, looks really, really weak. Now on to gold. In last week's video, I said we have a 1, 2, 3 on the monthly chart. Just waiting for my chart to update here. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce the data, I guess. So let's just go. Wow, it is really slow this morning. So we have a 1, 2, 3 on the monthly. It did not trigger. So if you didn't catch that that video last week that I did on gold, the first call was made on June 1st as a buy setup. Rocketed up, great, beautiful. If you did it, or if you did some of the other gold stocks, you didn't have to do GLD itself. You could actually do the smaller stocks, especially the gold miners, which move a lot more. And that's my style. That's what I like to do. I don't like to do the indexes. I like to do the individual stocks because they move a lot more and they also show me relative strength, relative weakness. So I look at for example, I can look at all the stocks that are in the GLD sector, right? Or in the gold miners, the GDX. And instead of going with the actual sector, when I'm bullish on the actual sector, I can go find the most bullish stock in the most bullish sector. Does that make sense? So, but if you like to just play the GLD itself, it still hasn't triggered. It looks good on the monthly. It now looks good also on the daily. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Beautiful. So long over here. Stop under the lows. All right, on GLD. Microsoft, I didn't show you the chart, but it looks pretty bullish too. I mean, it doesn't look that, but I mean, it's just more bullish than the other FANG stocks. But the truth is, Microsoft is a little climb on the monthly chart. That's for sure. That's a little climactic, and if the market starts coming in more, I can see Microsoft pulling into 120. Even though it's the most bullish, that doesn't mean it can't pull in a little bit. Now on to Tesla. Tesla, my friends, bottomed over here, of course. That's was at support, but has a beautiful weekly sell setup. See that sell setup? It's a beautiful weekly sell setup with one caveat, which is you see this retracement. It was too strong of a retracement if Tesla is going to continue that weekly downtrend. Does that make sense? So you have to be a little careful with Tesla, but it does look really bearish compared to everything else that we talked about so far. So Tesla short and then stop. Or what I'm looking to do personally is wait another week. Wait for another bar. And that should tell me whether it's going to continue lower or not, depending on where we end up forming the bar. If the bar ends up forming right up here, then no. If it ends up forming right here, then yes. I will look to do the Tesla short to the prior lows, to 180, I think, maybe 175, 177. So Tesla looks really weak. They had their earnings call announcement a couple weeks ago, and they gapped down 12%, I think. Nvidia, no good. I mean, it's not that bad, but it looks weak on the larger time frames. Look at the monthly. Nvidia is just in big trouble. These momentum stocks, look at Nvidia here. went from like $30 to 300 without pausing almost. When they finally top out, you just have to run. You can't just walk away from them. You have to run, because momentum moves leave little to no support. So when the stock tops out, oh boy, look out below. So that's what's going on with the Nvidia. It looks really, really weak on the monthly chart. Still looks like it's headed back down to the green bar's low, which is 132. Does not look good. BABA is a little weak also, much weaker than the FANG stocks. It has a bearish rounding top on the monthly, lower highs now, right? We don't have lower lows. That's a higher low, but it's a bit of a mess, BABA. But it does look also lower if the market also drops. Best one of the bunch, which I have just for disclosure, I have a position in. I played it as an earnings play in the strategic swing trader program as an earnings play right here, long, gapped up. I kept 1/3. So whatever I had, however many shares I had, I kept 1/3 as a long-term play. I mean, come on, Twitter is looking great. Phenomenal, looks beautiful. But it doesn't have a ton of room to 47.50, I think. So again, yeah, it doesn't have a ton of room. That's another $5, I would say. Maybe it ends up reaching, the prior pivot high here at 50. Looks like 50 something, 52 maybe. But for now, that's really the next target area, which is between 45 to 48, 47.50. That would be the next. But beautiful, doesn't it look nice? It looks really good to me. Facebook and Twitter. But and then hopefully we take it out and then continues higher to here. So those are some of the stocks that are the hottest stocks. Uber is not hot at all. Look, I just had my car repaired at the dealership, and the guy there knows me, knows what I do, started asking me about a bunch of companies, and Uber was one of them. And I said, here's what I said. I said, Uber for an IPO, for a recent IPO, does not look good. And that wasn't, it hadn't yet broken down. It was still basing. But it's just for an IPO, for as big of a name as Uber, as big of as a well-recognized name as Uber is, right? It should have already done much better after the IPO. In fact, right out of the IPO, right out of the gate, it dropped a huge amount, and then it's spent the last few months just recovering, and now back down below the IPO price. So Uber does not look good at all, right? Does not look good at all. We have support here, but that doesn't mean it's a bullish stock that I would want to play. I played it twice, long on the buy setup here, gapped up, and then on this buy setup here too. Played it twice, but it doesn't look good. People ask me about it all the time because it's the hottest new thing, right? I talked about cryptocurrency in the previous video. I already closed out of the cryptocurrency charts, but Litecoin has a beautiful weekly buy setup if you're interested. I also like the double bottom on Bitcoin for another pullback. Maybe that gives us the chance to enter or add to the position if you're already in it. Next week, I know Apple and all these big names just reported last week, but believe it or not, next week is going to be the busiest in terms of the amount of companies reporting. It's going to be by far the busiest week of earnings season next week. So again, not in terms of the cap. A lot of the big names have already reported. I don't know did Facebook report? I think it did. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, they all reported. Yeah, Facebook reported that day, right? And the next day is when I played Twitter long, because Twitter reports the day after Facebook always. So all the FANG stocks reported. A lot of the big names have already reported. But in terms of the amount, the number of companies reporting, next week will be the busiest. So I am expecting to be really busy with the earnings plays. If you want to participate in some of these earnings plays, You saw it was all over the internet, my video on Thursday, I think. I broadcasted this live. These two accounts are being merged on this weekend, but I just have two accounts. One is my swing trading account, one is my long-term trading investing account. And for earnings, I like to do half and half, so 15,000 in each account, 15,000 per position. And so they're being merged this weekend, just so I don't have to manage to submit orders for two different accounts, right? So I can just submit one order in IB, and it actually sprays it to the two different accounts. So this was Thursday. So if you'd like to participate in some of these calls, earnings plays, check out the links in the description. The Strategic Swing Trader newsletter is how you can do that. But if you want to learn how to pick the earnings plays, you can actually do so for just $95. There's a link in the description for that. All right. With that said, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, and I will talk to you next week. Good trading, everybody. Take care.